that I'm in control of my own mind and ultimately my free will. I'm telling everything that I witnessed and saw and heard and photographically recorded behind the scenes of this New World Order effort. These criminals that are in control of our country operate on the philosophy that secret knowledge equals power. Lampe, Missouri was a place where I heard George Bush and Bill Clinton talking, where from the point of view I had, they certainly were friends, and they didn't recognize any party lines between them. That's something for the, a smoke and mirrors illusion for the public. It's not something they adhere to, because they had exactly the same agenda, and that was for bringing in this New World Order. For as intelligent as these perpetrators are, they're limited in their thinking by their own immorality. They don't have wisdom. They don't think deep. And they never considered the strength of the human spirit. It's time for truth to prevail. It's time that these truths were brought to light for the sake of humanity as we know it.
The kind of long-term name going right back of this conspiracy is the great work of ages. It's used religion for its own ends, it's used science for its own ends, it uses any vehicle for its own ends. It does not have a party line, it does not have a basic religion, it just uses whatever vehicle is necessary to manipulate and control. What the New World Order means is the creation of one world government to which all nation states would be subordinate, one world central bank, one world currency that wouldn't be physical money, it would be credit, one world army, and as I'll come to later, a microchipped population.
I think that we are living in a country today which is being manipulated, exploited, and maneuvered into something that the politicians are now calling a New World Order, which is in point of fact the same identical words that Adolf Hitler used in his public speeches when he began to talk about how the superior race was going to lead the world in the new age to a new world order, a new order based on a supreme rulership of the masses by an Aryan super race. And this is the same words that the President of the United States, congressmen, and all of the so-called elite in this country are using, the same Nazi terms. There are some very evil people who are at the reins of government in this country, and unless and until somebody starts reading the symbols and understanding where this stuff comes from, we're heading for another Nazi Germany.
This is a situation that has been going on for a long, long time. People such as George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, Mr. Ford from the Ford Motor Company, Charles Lindbergh, John Kennedy, Barry Goldwater, all were very clear about the dangers of globalism and the New World Order.
It does seem that they're both owned by the same interests, and really the difference between Republican and Democrat appears to be almost purely cosmetic. And it's almost irrelevant who's in the White House right now. They're all pushing this same agenda, this globalism, this one world government. And I got to tell you, every time I hear global governance or New World Order or one world government, I keep thinking, that's what Alexander the Great wanted, that's what Napoleon wanted, that's what Rome tried to do, that's what Hitler tried to do. This idea of a single global government is nothing but the vanity of the rich and powerful run amok, and it never works out well for the ordinary people of the planet Earth.
Let's turn now to the G20 summit in London. President Obama calling the meeting a turning point. And the summit's host, British Prime Minister Gordon Brown, said he sees the emergence of a new world order.
It took 15 years for the world to come together to rebuild and renew our economies. This time, I think people will agree that it is different. We will not hesitate as long as people are losing their jobs and their homes to make the difference that we can by improving their prosperity. Today's decisions, of course, will not immediately solve the crisis, but we have begun the process by which it will be solved. We are engaging in a deep process of reform and restructuring of our international financial system for now and for the future, and we have maintained our commitment. I think a new world order is emerging, and with it the foundations of a new and progressive era of international cooperation. We have resolved that from today we will together manage the process of globalization.
Well, there's no question is that Obama is a perfect Trojan horse for these people. He is the most charismatic, he's the most articulate, he's just awesome. He was the perfect pick by the Illuminati to carry their water. And that just makes the game a lot more interesting, and it makes it a lot more dangerous, because if Brother McCain had gotten elected, it would have been easy to pick him apart. And I agree with Alex, at this time, we need to set our priorities, and we need to stay focused, and we need to keep on track of what's really important, because survival is what it's all about.
Well, you've heard the information and possibly read it in The Biggest Secret at greater length also. The question is, what are we going to do about it? That's entirely up to you as an individual and me as an individual. As someone once said, what you think of me is none of my business, and it's not. This is just information, make of it what you will. But what we make of it and what we decide to do in the light of this knowledge will decide the kind of world that we and our children are going to live in the next few years and beyond. The Chinese have a word that means at the same time both danger, crisis, and opportunity. And that's the situation we're in now. Yes, there's a crisis. Yes, there's a danger of this global fascist state becoming reality, but it's also an opportunity to wake up and make the change that will turn this planet from a prison into the paradise it once was and the paradise it will become again. And that is about choice. Choosing what we do as a result of what we know. And to change, as Bill Hicks said, doesn't need big bank accounts. It just means a choice right now between fear and love. Fear is the four-letter word that has controlled this planet and this human race for thousands of years. Love is the word that will set us free. And that's the choice we face now. And the world that those two choices will create will be so different as to be unexplainable, the chasm between the two, a prison or a paradise.